Jungkook's solo career has introduced a significant shift in how American media perceives K-pop idols, not only as performers in synchronized groups, but as individual artists with creative autonomy and broad artistic influence. His transition from a group dynamic to solo artistry is being closely analyzed by critics, journalists, and pop culture analysts in the United States. This ongoing reevaluation is playing a key role in how the American entertainment industry frames discussions around K-pop and its future. Beyond the group identity historically, coverage of K-pop in the American media largely focused on the phenomenon of groups, often emphasizing choreography, fan culture, and group cohesion. Jungkook's solo ventures have moved this narrative forward by highlighting the depth of his individual skill set. Music critics from Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, and NME have begun publishing in-depth reviews of his solo tracks, evaluating them on the same criteria used for Western pop and R&B artists. In these reviews, elements such as vocal range, lyrical themes, production quality, and genre blending are dissected with professional rigor, signaling that Jungkook's work is now being critiqued alongside American soloists rather than only within the K-pop framework. This shift in journalistic approach indicates that Jungkook is not simply being seen as a member of a famous boy band, but as a viable solo artist whose music stands on its own in a competitive international market. Artistic recognition and creative direction. Jungkook's involvement in the conceptual and visual direction of his music videos, stage performances, and branding has also attracted the attention of U.S. entertainment media. Outlets such as Billboard and Variety have credited him with demonstrating a clear understanding of Western music trends while integrating his own stylistic preferences. Articles have highlighted his attention to detail, from vocal arrangement to fashion choices within his solo performances. His collaborations with American producers and songwriters have been cited as evidence of strategic decision-making designed to appeal to both K-pop fans and mainstream pop audiences in the US rather than portraying Jungkook solely as a performer executing a company-led concept. American media now acknowledges his growing role as a creative contributor in the development process. This distinction is important, as it challenges outdated narratives that label K-pop idols as merely managed talents rather than genuine artists. Linguistic adaptation and cultural flexibility. One of the most practical tools Jungkook has used to solidify his solo impact in the American market is his linguistic adaptability. By releasing tracks in English or with substantial English lyrics, he has made his music more accessible to non-Korean speakers, a move that American media has recognized as both strategic and effective. Songs like 7 and 3D were praised for their seamless integration of Western pop and R&B structures, and their accessibility for radio play. In the US, critics have pointed out how his pronunciation, lyrical delivery, and thematic relevance align well with American pop standards without losing the identity rooted in his K-pop background. This duality, being global while maintaining distinct cultural elements, has become a defining trait of Jungkook's image in American coverage. Media commentary often explores how he balances familiarity and uniqueness, appealing to domestic audiences without replicating Western artists. Award consideration and industry validation. Jungkook's eligibility and nominations for international music awards have also fueled media discussions in the US. Platforms such as Entertainment Weekly and E! News have covered his appearances on nomination lists for global music awards, including the MTV VMAs, American Music Awards, and even Billboard's year-end rankings. These mentions have shifted American audience perception. Rather than seeing K-pop idols as niche or foreign-specific artists, more viewers are beginning to understand them as competitive players in the same arena as global music figures. Jungkook's inclusion in these spaces is seen by analysts as symbolic of K-pop's evolution and his role as a key figure in that transformation. Furthermore, media discussions often reflect how industry peers, including producers, choreographers, and other artists based in the US, respect Jungkook's talent. He is increasingly mentioned in interviews and social media posts by American musicians, suggesting a growing recognition of his creative and commercial value across the entertainment ecosystem. Influence on the broader K-pop narrative. Finally, Jungkook's solo rise is influencing how American media talks about K-pop as a whole. Rather than generalizing the genre as homogeneous or trend-driven, reporters and commentators are beginning to identify and differentiate between individual artistry within the space. Jungkook's case is now often used as a reference point in broader industry articles about the globalization of K-pop, solo careers, and genre crossover. This not only strengthens his position in US media, but also contributes to the reshaping of how Korean artists are evaluated and categorized within the Western entertainment narrative. A significant driver behind Jungkook's consistent visibility in American media is the strength, coordination, and digital presence of his fanbase in the United States. While fan-driven activity is a known feature of K-pop culture, the American segment of Jungkook's global audience has become an increasingly important factor in shaping his narrative in Western media. From trending campaigns to streaming support and media monitoring, this digital fandom contributes to a feedback loop that amplifies his coverage across entertainment platforms. Organized fan engagement on social media on platforms such as Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram. US-based fans of Jungkook play a central role in keeping his name trending. Whenever Jungkook releases a new song, appears in a brand campaign, or shares a post, his fans mobilize in real time. They create hashtags, organize trending hours, and collaborate with fan bases in other countries to maximize visibility across global trending charts. American media outlets increasingly report on these social media surges. Entertainment sites such as BuzzFeed, Insider, Pop Crush, and Billboard often publish articles or social roundups based on the real-time impact of Jungkook's fan activity. These media pieces help bring fandom activity into mainstream attention and further reinforce his cultural footprint in the US. Journalists now regularly reference data from social media analytics tools that track post volume, hashtag reach, and engagement levels in the US. This kind of data is used to explain Jungkook's consistent presence in digital conversations, even when no new content is released. Streaming campaigns and chart impact UDS. Base streaming campaigns also play a strategic role in ensuring Jungkook's continued success on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Fan collectives organize streaming guides, playlists, and instructional graphics to help casual listeners and new fans support Jungkook's music efficiently and within platform guidelines. Media analysts from publications like Rolling Stone, Forbes, and The Verge have begun to acknowledge the sophistication of these campaigns. Articles often include breakdowns of how fans use VPNs, timed streaming, and collaborative playlisting to boost song performance in key US metrics, such as first-day debuts and weekly chart placements. This strategic streaming behavior often results in Jungkook trending across multiple US charts at once. When such milestones are achieved, the media responds with headlines, rankings, and breakdowns that validate both the artist and the fanbase, keeping the story relevant beyond fan communities. Media monitoring and fact correction UDS. Base fans of Jungkook also engage in active media monitoring. They quickly identify inaccurate reporting or misleading headlines and respond in an organized, often professional tone. This vigilance ensures that public narratives surrounding Jungkook remain accurate and respectful. Several American journalists and digital media editors have commented on this phenomenon. Some publications have even issued clarifications or updates to previously published content in response to fan-led fact-checking initiatives. This dynamic creates a level of accountability that media organizations take seriously, especially when dealing with high-profile global celebrities like Jungkook. By consistently engaging with reporters, editors, and public-facing platforms, US fans contribute to shaping a more accurate and nuanced portrayal of Jungkook in the media. Fan events and cultural integration. Offline fan-led events in the US, including streaming parties, billboard projects, and charity drives, often attract media attention as well. These activities are covered by local news outlets and lifestyle blogs, especially when they intersect with national holidays, popular venues, or community involvement. For instance, when fans in Los Angeles or New York organize charity events in Jungkook's name or rent public LED screens to celebrate milestones, these acts are often reported on by local stations and online publications. American media interprets these fan actions as signs of a strong domestic following, reinforcing Jungkook's influence within the U.S. entertainment landscape. These local activations also build community recognition and introduce Jungkook's name to non-fans. When local news reports reference his fandom, it often leads to higher search traffic, social media curiosity, and broader exposure. Influencer participation and platform trends based influencers, particularly on TikTok and Instagram Reels, also contribute to the amplification of Jungkook's content. Whether it's dance challenges set to his songs, reaction videos, or beauty/fashion commentary related to his public image, influencers expand his reach to audiences who may not follow K-pop directly. American media often highlights these moments, especially when the trend includes celebrities or goes viral across platforms. For example, when a Jungkook-related TikTok challenge receives millions of views or is adopted by mainstream creators, outlets such as Mashable, Elite Daily, and Digital Trends frequently produce coverage explaining the origin and rise of the trend. These articles not only bring more attention to Jungkook, but also serve as cultural translation points for broader American audiences who are still learning about K-pop and its mechanics. The growing presence of Jungkook in American media is not only a reflection of public interest, it is also influencing decision-making within the U.S. music industry itself. Record labels, artist management firms, streaming services, and talent scouts are closely studying Jungkook's solo trajectory to better understand how global stars can succeed in the American market. His model is being seen as both a case study and a benchmark for future strategies involving international artists. Strategic benchmarking by U.S. labels. American music executives have taken note of Jungkook's consistent chart performance, strong digital presence, and rapid fan mobilization. Industry reports and insider commentary published in outlets such as Billboard Pro, Music Business Worldwide, and Hits Daily Double reveal how labels are reviewing Jungkook's release patterns, promotional timing, and production partnerships. A growing number of American A&R, artists, and repertoire professionals now reference Jungkook when evaluating potential international collaborations or signing non-US acts. His crossover appeal is seen as proof that language barriers and cultural differences can be overcome with effective positioning, digital strategy, and fan engagement infrastructure. In interviews with music executives, Jungkook is often mentioned not only for his vocal and performance talent, but for the way his brand integrates with Western formats without compromising originality. This blend of authenticity and global compatibility is now considered essential for future planning. Influence on release and promotion models. Jungkook's solo projects have introduced a hybrid model of promotion that blends K-pop intensity with Western media formats. His rollouts often include simultaneous global music video premieres, strategic teaser schedules on multiple platforms, pre-release global streaming campaigns, immediate engagement with Western press outlets. This structure, optimized for both digital and physical markets, is being studied and partially adopted by American artists and their management teams. Labels are recognizing the importance of treating U.S. audiences as part of a global audience rather than as a separate entity. Jungkook's model supports this integrated approach. Several American soloists have recently experimented with pre-release strategies inspired by K-pop, including teaser image releases, countdown schedules, and international pre-saves. All tactics that Jungkook's team has executed with measurable success. Music production trends. Jungkook's solo songs have featured Western producers, including Grammy-winning collaborators. This has led to a surge of interest from U.S. production houses and songwriting teams seeking to work with K-pop artists or adopt similar sonic elements for American releases. The production quality and genre choices in Jungkook's music, spanning pop, R&B, and EDM, are now discussed in American music circles as examples of global pop done right. Publications like Variety and The Fader have commented on how his sound aligns with U.S. mainstream radio expectations while maintaining distinct melodic and rhythmic nuances characteristic of K-pop. Producers who have worked with Jungkook have shared insights with U.S. industry media, often noting his precision, professionalism, and musical instincts. These profiles help position him not just as a performer but as an active collaborator, adding credibility to his artistic role and setting expectations for how future collaborations with K-pop idols may unfold. Market integration and audience strategy. American labels and distributors are now more aware of how to build strategies around fan-centric engagement. Jungkook's team, for instance, has utilized platforms like TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube in ways that drive both casual interest and core fan involvement. This model contrasts with older approaches in which artist promotion was driven almost entirely by radio and television exposure. The high engagement rates that Jungkook receives from a US audience, even without heavy traditional media presence, has led executives to rethink their allocation of resources. As a result, US music companies are now hiring more digital strategists with global experience, investing in multilingual content teams, and creating localized content for international fan bases that intersect with the American market. Jungkook's career is often cited as a reason for these shifts during industry panels and trade publications. Partnerships with streaming services. Jungkook's global campaigns often involve strategic placements and partnerships with streaming services that have a strong US presence, such as Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. These partnerships go beyond simple platform uploads. They include playlist placement, homepage features, and editorial write-ups. American music platforms have recognized that spotlighting international stars like Jungkook drives not only engagement, but also brand loyalty from niche, highly engaged audiences. Consequently, streaming services are now rethinking how they allocate promotional space, especially during high-traffic release weeks. The media frequently reports on these platform strategies, often noting how Jungkook's inclusion in US-focused playlists reflects broader shifts in content curation philosophy. Industry analysis pieces now mention Jungkook in discussions about breaking down the geographic silos of music promotion.